Happy Tuesday, everyone, and welcome to the Lockdown Lounge from Strode Media. I'm Omar Ali, and this show is produced by me.
What's on your mind? We'd really like to hear.
Hello, and welcome to the fourth. That's right, the fourth ever Lockdown Lounge. I am your host, Ollie Kemp.
Hi, I'm Omar, and I'm producing this show.
I'm Ollie, and I'm here again once more, waiting for lockdown to end.
I'm Phoebe, and I don't have a black belt in karate.
Hello, I'm Harry. I'm here. I was on the first episode with some hot takes, and I'm back for some more.
We're going to have a slight trigger warning for this episode. We're going to be discussing alcohol abuse and addiction. So if you're not comfortable with that topic, I suggest not watching. So that leads us in. Alcoholism. Would anyone, if this might be a personal question, is alcohol a big part of anyone here's life?
No, personally
Sadly not.
From like yours, so I suppose we've got sort of a kind of an outsider's perspective from everyone. How bad do you think alcohol is?
In moderation, it's fine. Some people don't use it. If you don't have that little button inside you that you can just switch off when you've had enough and then you can go home and everything, you're fine. If you don't have that switch and you just keep going and going and going until you pass out and you go to hospital, that's when it's bad. I think when in moderation, there's no problem with it.
I think for the long-term health effect, you might get like a mouth cancer and a liver cancer, and things like that are really bad for your health and for your personal health.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Because the doctors, when people say one glass of red wine a week keeps the doctor away, so I think there's some health benefits to some things. It's been proven as well. So, yeah, I think there's also another side to it as well.
I think, Ollie, at some point I'm agree with you, because there is some study that says if you take for example, one beer every day, it might clean your kidneys, but at the same time is bad for your liver as well.
I don't think alcohol is it's never really the first thought when thinking about your health. You're never going to down a bottle of wine thinking it's going to improve your life in any way. But I think it's the main thing is, especially at the moment, do you feel it's a bit more difficult with people who have these dependencies on alcohol sort of get through it?
I think it's a lot more difficult because obviously with lockdown and restrictions, many different people have different coping mechanisms of stress, just daily stress, because everyone gets stressed. Some people like to go out with friends and hang out and just talk. Some people like to go and do their favorite sport or go to the gym, let out some heat. But it's obviously going to be a lot more difficult in lockdown, purely because you can buy alcohol in the shops and you're stuck in home all day. And some people have that alcohol in the cupboards at all times. So when they think, oh, I'm so stressed, I'm just going to have one glass. Sometimes it can lead to more. But then again, in the same breath, some people don't have, they do have a choice, but it can be difficult to not. But that's just different people's coping mechanisms, I guess.
I think for some people, they have ability like to stop drinking alcohol. Maybe they said, okay, one glass and that's it. But some other people, if they take one, they take 2, 3, 4, 5. And when it gets to 4 and 5, it gets really bad for them.
Yeah, it just depends on the person. Everyone's different, as cliche as that is. Everyone's different, and especially when it comes to alcohol.
But the caveat to that is people who've drunk all their lives since they've been kids, and this is like our grandparents quite often, if they were just to stop now immediately, it would probably kill them because of the lack of it, because their body is so used to it. It's like someone giving up smoking who smoked 20 a day, 40 a day for their whole life, and then one day they stop having it. The starvation of not having the nicotine, it would probably shock their body too much. So I think also that people, those kind of people have got to get the correct help. But I think just on the normal, it's not a bad thing. But I think, well, like we've said, out of moderation, I think it's more of a problem than people think it is.
Well, just to say, because obviously all of us here live in the United Kingdom, and we have a very interesting relationship with alcohol. Because, to be honest, most of us, I'm sure here at the age of 16 have had a drink or done something like that, even though we are obviously underage. But this is sort of accepted in the UK, mostly because of how entwined with our culture it is, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. If you look at some countries, different substances like coffee or other drugs are entwined within them. But it's quite hilarious because if you watch the TV, for example, or you watch a advert for a football game, which is about drinking, it'll always say, "Oh, drinking is the best thing ever. Drink, drink, drink. It's so good for you." And then at the end, it will just say, "Please drink responsibly." That all they have to do is put that little slogan, and even then, it says "drink" in that word. It's quite cheeky. But furthermore, to end it, is we have a really starch. So we love alcohol in the UK. It's like, everyone has a drink at Christmas. Everyone does all of this at probably past the age of about 16. It becomes sort of a regular part of your life. Not in an addictive sense, just, parties, meeting up, social events, whatever. But for something like coffee or something like marijuana or all these other things, they are so, frowned upon and beaten down in the head, even though some of the other things. But alcohol is like fine to be addicted to or less bad than another drug, even though something like marijuana is nowhere near as, in a sense, is nowhere near as dangerous as alcohol, nowhere near as addictive, but we still think alcohol is somewhat better.
I think that's interesting that you mentioned the all these alcohol ads, and even like with gambling ads, they put that tiny little message at the end that's like, "Oh, also don't do that too much," but they flash it for like a second and then it's over.
Yeah,
it's gone.
Yeah, but it's just
just don't ruin your life.
Hilarious.
But it's gone.
Well, if you look at the I was looking because I was just interested. I watched a documentary about how other countries sort of handle it. Like it was all about prohibition and like how it is today and stuff like that. And obviously not that there is prohibition, but it said that, for example, in somewhere like the Netherlands, where they have their laws on alcohol and marijuana are much different to the UK, is the fact of in the Netherlands they have a starch hardcore take on any addiction. They really open up places for people to go to because they know it could be a real problem in some people's lives, but they know just putting it under the rug and saying, "Oh, that's bad," isn't the way to approach things. You need to look at them in a whole sense. You can't go the way of, "You will go to hell if you have a drink on Christmas." It's all a bit like harsh, and sometimes it's the way of tackling these things isn't by making them taboo, is by making them okay to talk about.
Definitely opening the conversation a bit more. And instead of dehumanizing people that have addiction, be more open arms and be like, "Okay, we have people here that understand you. We want to help you. It's going to be fine. You will eventually get there." But like you said, that tiny little bit after the advert, after being like, "You can win millions. This dude right here who totally won £3 million, changed his life, paid off his mortgage. Please gamble responsibly."
It's like, and it's just hilarious to me, the whole sort of like in the UK, how it's just, I think the most interesting thing is looking at the comparison to something which is illegal, which, marijuana in the UK is illegal. It's just interesting if you can see the comparisons. I'm not saying everyone smoke weed because that's not what I'm saying. But my point is that something like that, if it was made legal in the same way it's made in somewhere like the Netherlands, we would be have so much more control over it and so much more with people with these addictions without it being taboo. If we make it so it's open and it's okay to talk about and it's okay to use this stuff responsibly, because alcohol isn't an evil. It's just if you abuse it, it is going to become an evil. But surely this is the same as coffee, the same as food, eating too much fatty food. If you excess is never going to work.
Yeah, I think, but a great thing to do though is most people who buy it in moderation don't buy it very often. Maybe once a month they might buy a can of cider or whatever they want to drink. But wouldn't it be better, because at supermarkets you can buy sort of booze very cheaply, so wouldn't it be better to put a big tax on it if you bought more than a certain amount, unless obviously you're like a pub or something like that, so obviously there's exceptions. But if you go into, say, Tesco's and you wanted to buy 8 bottles of wine, maybe after the first one there's a certain tax there just to discourage people from buying lots and lots. Maybe that would discourage people who are serial addictors. Might not work, but might be an interesting idea.
It might, yeah, that might work.
I think
It
later
might-
on, politics the people will complain the politics about that, and it may come very dangerous.
It's like the sugar levy on Coke and stuff like that, isn't it? To try and discourage people from taking too much sugar on. So it's obviously worked with that. Just would it work with alcohol? Because obviously they've taxed petrol in cars recently. They've taxed cigarettes. They did that quite a few years ago. They've taxed sugary food and drink. So it would be alcohol left to do now for them. And yeah, I know it's a very unpopular opinion, but it might help.
I think the reason why it's so unpopular is because of the humongous amount of people that drink alcohol. Maybe not on the daily, but on the weekend after they've had work. There's so many people that will just buy themselves a bottle of wine, maybe open up the gin that's been sitting in the cupboard for a while. Because it's such a normal thing in the life of a British person. As weird as that is to say, alcohol is such a normal thing that people don't realise that that's why they won't tax it, because it's so normal, and people will just be like, oh, you can't tax that, that's my alcohol.
And even that in a way can be tied to like other societal problems and like the issues people face in their days that are like personal and much larger. And I think the main thing is, from what you guys are what we've all been talking about, is, do we feel like as a whole that our society sort of gives up on people with addiction, specifically in this case alcohol addiction?
I don't think people take it seriously. Alcohol, when it comes to A-class drugs, obviously, it's taken a lot more seriously, in my opinion, because it's viewed as a lot more harmful, which it probably is. Yes, and it's highly illegal.
But furthermore,
but
you're not breaking the law to become addicted to alcohol. It's your own human
Exactly.
choice. As in, you can't, not being horrible, but it's you can't take away the right for people to drink as much as they want. That is their, if they,
true.
in this country, if I want to, for example, at the age of 18, go buy a bottle of whiskey and down it in one night, that's my human right in the UK. I'm not saying it's a good idea, but, people could sort of say, the version of my constitution, my country, my rules, I do whatever I want, and there's a bit of backlash against that. But
Yeah, sure.
Also, if it was a good thing for your health, no one will drink it.
no.
Exactly.
No one.
Or the other thing as well is,
It's a good thing for you. No one will drink it.
well, to be honest, I mean, I'm not, I think everyone here would be remiss to say, oh yeah, alcohol is kind of cool. Like, it's like people go, oh, smoking's really lame. But in like a noir film with a detective, when he's smoking a cigarette, it looks cool, but it's not obviously good. Like it's something where people are like, oh, it's so bad. And then they go off and have like a cider outside. It's like, it's so hypocritical for people. So it's hilarious.
It's sort of like the aesthetic. People enjoy the aesthetic more than the actual like benefits.
Well, yeah.
There aren't really any benefits to it.
No, I mean, it's just sort of, if you see a crime movie, see a dude with like a 50s noir movie with a guy with a bit of whiskey, he looks cool. But, whiskey can like ruin your life. So it's not really a, negotiable thing.
Well, thank you, everyone. That was a really interesting discussion to have. We're going to move on to a slightly less hard topic and to a more light one, a bit more happy. We're going to talk about where you all live, the good and the bad. Specifically, I think me and Ollie are both from Yeovil, which is an interesting place to live.
Yeah, I think that's true, isn't it?
Interesting.
Yeah.
So,
Oh my.
so first of all, where do you all like? This is sorry, I'm not trying to. Where do you all live? Tell me where you all live, and me, or like the general towns and areas you know about in Somerset.
I mean, I live in like the absolute middle of. I can't. There's no town. There's no village. Nothing.
It's
I
a
think
barren wasteland.
I can't even explain to you how rural England is where I live. It is. It's like Midsummer Murders. Imagine that, but round here, it's like some sort of. It's weird. It's weird, man. It's crazy.
They've all got webbed feet, and they're all into bread. Is that how it is? That out your way?
They're actually all fishmen. They're actually. I moved here, and they all started like eating flies, and it was a bit weird.
No, I live in Walton, a little village down the road from Street. There is nothing. There's no shops. There's no nothing.
I know how that feels.
These are all ghost towns.
Definitely.
I mean, to be specific, I think the closest place I live to is. So if you know the road to Taunton from Somerset, where there's like a roundabout, if you head off there, there's a little tiny place that I won't disclose the name of, but it's way off, and it's like I think the nearest place is probably like Taunton, but there's no near recognizable place at all, really. To be honest, maybe Ilminster. I don't know. It's nowhere near.
That sounds like the perfect place for a horror movie.
It really is. My year 7 self making horror movies round here. Awesome.
Have you got a script?
Oh no, I remember like me and my friends going up to like graveyard because there's like a little creepy church and like going, oh, let's film a little scary video and all of that.
Who wouldn't? Let's be real.
Should we start with Yeovil, Ollie? But it's good and bad points.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
First thing, quite good, is you have quite a broad range of things to do, like Nine Springs, which is like a big park where they sometimes put events on if the council can be bothered to do anything. And Ham Hill's about the same. It's just a big monument place with a big hill where loads of people go to, and you can get ice cream. That probably tops off about the good things.
we got a Nando's.
Oh,
That's it.
Wow.
Got a Nando's.
Confession time. I've
Dominic.
never been to Nando's.
neither have
Wow.
I.
Wow.
Oh, okay, I'm glad not the only one.
No,
Wow.
I don't really want to go. It looks a bit.
Oh no.
How dare you?
Maybe I had a bad
I'm
run
about
in
to
with the
offend a lot
Nando's.
of people.
This is. We should put the trigger warning in here. This has gone too far.
That was the one that really brought it down. Was the Nando's discussion.
Oh
Yeah.
dear.
Okay. No, we've got quite good
Strode.
places to eat and stuff.
Bowling's fun.
Yes, yeah.
And the cinema.
Yeah, it was fun. I think it's closed now, isn't
was-
Cineworld
Was it
ruined?
Oh my god! I saw Up in that cinema when I was like 4. Sentimentality.
Never again. Never
Oh, I
again.
saw every Star Wars there. Oh.
Brilliant.
Never
Well,
again. It
what's
might.
up-
It might come back. Who knows?
Got an interesting story. An interesting Yeovil story
Go for it.
to do with that. To do with that cinema. It's not like I sat down and something funny happened, but
Oh,
I remember there was a premiere night or something. Like first time people were going to see the new Star Wars movie. I remember people lined up. And everyone was lined up. Went in. This guy decided to shout spoilers inside of the cinema.
What?
Opening night, massive. People dressed up. But before I went in, I noticed there were 3 Wookiees going in, and I see the 3 Wookiees just turn to this fella. And I come outside. You come outside, and there's like a little bit where there's a bowling alley and everything. You go around the corner. Then just down the road, sort of, I could see these 3 Wookiees punching this dude. It was like when I think of Taunton, I think of 3 Wookiees beating up a fella down the road. And it was the most surreal experience. I didn't know whether to laugh, cry, or run. I thought they were going to get me next. 3 Wookiees. Ugh.
When you
A
get
rogue gang of Wookiees beat
Yeah.
someone to death.
Yeah, it was mental. I couldn't. Absolutely crazy. That's
That is
that's
the best
literally
thing
my
I've
main
heard.
experience with Taunted is that premiere night.
Oh.
Those Wookiees. I'm not even kidding you. Wait, I just remembered. Does everyone know about the Yeovil Ninja?
The Yeovil Ninja!
The Yeovil
Oh,
Ninja.
yes!
Can I have the honour of explaining
Yes,
to
of
those who
course,
don't know
of course.
the Yeovil
Please.
Ninja, who has now become the
Inform.
Weymouth Ninja?
He betrayed
So-
us.
So it's this guy, normal guy, got a wife and 2 kids, and he works in a butter factory. One day now, and then so effectively, he's this guy who dresses up as a full ninja gear, doesn't cover his face, and he goes around looking for crime.
Yeah.
No joke, goes around looking for crime, and
We need
there's
more
like
people like that.
there's interviews with him. And he's like with his family, like doing his kids' nappies or something. And he's in this full ninja gear with 2 samurai swords. And he actually works with the police. So like there's this in the same news story of the BBC, he's like walking around in the woods just outside of Yeovil. Then he goes back and he tells the police something. Then he runs back off. But he's actually like really skilled. And he's got a Twitter. And now he's the Weymouth Ninja.
He
What a
betrayed us. He
loss.
just left.
I know he went to Weymouth. Why would you
Yeah,
go to
fuck.
Weymouth? Come back to Yeovil.
On YouTube, if anyone who's listening to this wants to find anything more, just put in Yeovil Ninja and
We'll put a link in the description.
happily put together.
We can get
to
him
the
on.
Yeovil Ninja's Twitter page.
Can we get him on here and talk
Oh my
to him?
god.
Yes.
If we could get on the Yeovil Ninja, the formerly known the Yeovil Ninja.
and try to get in here.
Like, comment
Gotta get him on it.
Never happen.
Just question.
He'd
Oh.
love it. He'd think it's great.
The interview with him, the specific BBC One interview, I remember there was a bit where the guy just goes to his wife, just goes, "Do you think your husband?" He basically just says, "Do you think your husband's a bit nuts for going around dressing up as a ninja and running around?" He just goes, "No." He's really mean to the Oval Ninja. He's fighting crime. He could have brought down county lines.
He's freaking Batman.
Single-handedly.
He's real
He's a-
Batman. Oh. I mean, I used to live in Ilminster. We used to have Mad Jeff, and that's all I remember.
That's the Joker.
Yeah, Mad Jeff was an interesting fella. So he used to walk around for years outside with his hand like that, like just like this, walking around, and then like he used to go around and like roll down the road, like roly-poly down the road, and like no one knew why. And then like we had like a train line that was like disused from the Second World War, and there's like all these not bunkers, but like things that you shoot through. And apparently he was caught scaring people, go just booty, just scaring people when they walked down the road.
No.
I don't know what's up with that fella, but I want to see Yeovil Ninja versus Mad Jeff.
Yeah.
That'd be epic.
Battle of the Century.
A showdown for the ages.
It's good to think about the Yeovil Ninja occasionally. And what
To
he's
know
up
that he's
to.
out there.
To know that he's keeping us
In
safe.
Weymouth.
Weymouth.
Oh.
Oh. Actually, I've changed my mind. I don't want that backstabber on the podcast.
Ooh,
Turn
ooh.
around.
Traitor.
Would you give him like a
Cool.
proper? Would you give him a good talking to? Would you go?
We're
"Why
calling
did
out the
you
Yeovil
do
Ninja.
this?"
You betrayed us.
Maybe we
We're
should
calling you out.
say,
I'm going to cancel the Yeovil Ninja. Bring him down.
Oh
Ooh.
dear.
Uh-oh.
There's a-
Ollie's on the case of the Yeovil
I'm
Ninja.
gonna bring him down. I've had enough of his crimes. His
You've had enough of
actions
his crimes in Weymouth.
in Weymouth. I never seen him in Weymouth. Where is he?
He's a shadow. You don't know.
He's not a shadow. He doesn't wear a mask. Everyone knows who he is.
No, they
He's
don't.
failing being a ninja.
He can change his face.
Oh no.
Oh my god.
We're on a roll now. This is this is
Does
the
anyone
Yeovil
have-
Ninja podcast.
Does anyone else have any vigilantes that live in their town? If you
No.
oh.
It's really boring. I promise you.
Should I have
It's
Mad
nice and
Jeff or the
quiet.
Yeovil Ninja?
come, do you want us to like send the Yeovil Ninja your way and Mad
Yes.
Jeff.
The bat signal.
Yeah.
But it's a Y.
It's just no, it'd be a bloody W, the traitor.
Ooh.
I can't say that. I was gonna say a naughty word. I'm not allowed.
Uh-oh.
I should
We have to get
Uh-oh.
the machine out of us.
Fuming.
fuming, angry. You can't see it behind the darkness, but I'm enraged.
Enraged.
I'm
Mad
sort
Jeff
of-
will take him down, don't worry.
uh, so to sum up, the countryside has phone shops, co-ops, and the Yeovil Ninja to offer the world.
Versus Mad Jeff coming in a cinema
Mad-
near you.
Yeah. He's the new villain in the MCU.
Oh, that'd be a good story.
It would mean nothing to anyone else but us. So
Robert De Niro is Mad Jeff. Right.
are we wrapping up now? I feel like we've reached the peak of what there is to be discussed. I'm sorry this was derailed by the Yeovil Ninja in any way, or
They'll
Mad
love
Jeff.
it. They'll love it, don't worry. Everyone loves a bit of the Yeovil Ninja.
Everyone needs the Yeovil Ninja in their life. If you don't believe that, you're lying to yourself.
Set my game.
Oh,
I'll contact him, guys. I'll get him.
Please.
Oh,
Everyone
dying.
message him on Twitter.
yeah,
Alright,
just
let's go.
add him.
Okay, I
Say-
will.
raid him,
calling
followers.
you.
Raid him.
Attack, destroy the Yeovil Ninja. I want to see him dragged through the streets.
Right.
You don't want to catch a case. Christ.
God, I'm not afraid of the Yeovil Ninja.
Right.
But is he
Um,
going to be working because of COVID? He doesn't want to he don't want to catch COVID.
He can't catch COVID. He's not got.
He's a god.
I don't know.
He's a god amongst men.
He's the hero.
Sorry, yeah, this is.
All right.
Thank you all for discussing the Yeovil Ninja, and that's all. Just
And
the Yeovil
alcohol.
Ninja.
The
That's
Yeovil Ninja round
made me
Yeah.
so happy.
was
Uh,
jarring topic.
This has been very jarring. we. I can't wrap it up.
Someone end this, please.
Thank you all very much. This has been very interesting. The Lockdown Lounge will be returned in the next one. Thank you all. So
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And remember to watch out for the Yeovil Ninja. And
beware.
Beware of Yeovil. Beware of the
Beware.
Ninja.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Thank you.
Oh.
I think was interesting.
That's the best episode.
Oh.
Thank you.
We should do more of these.
We